The scene opens inside a massive frozen throne room, walls glittering with ice and crystal. At the top, an icy throne shines with power. From its steps, the woman in white begins to walk down, her cloak sliding across the floor as frost spreads with every step. Across the hall, a lone figure in dark clothing stands his ground, eyes locked on her. The air grows heavier, the silence sharper. You can feel it, the calm before the storm. Then it's revealed, the woman in white is none other than the Frost Queen. She mocks our hero with a cold smile. How does it feel, abandoning your comrades to die? But the hero fires back without hesitation, die? They're not gonna go down that easy. His hand moves to his waist, drawing his sword. He locks eyes with the Frost Queen, glare sharp as steel. Besides, once I kill you, everything ends here. The Frost Queen laughed at our hero. Over? You really are ignorant about this world, she said. But Spectre was already surrounded by his aura, ready for battle. The queen formed a sword of ice, and in the next moment, their blades collided. Sparks flew, sharp enough to cut if they touched. Spectre pressed forward. I'll kill you. The Frost Queen had magic ready, but Spectre saw through it, dodged, and rushed again. Using his sword technique, he sliced the queen, forcing her down to her knees. With a faint smile, she whispered, "That was fun." But Spectre didn't hesitate. He took her staff and stabbed her through the back. A flash of light burst out, then the system appeared. You are absorbing the Frost Queen's power. Spectre was shocked, but the system continued. Your body will enter hibernation until you fully absorb the Frost Queen's nucleus. But before that moment, let's go back, 76 hours earlier. A massive hand slammed against a frozen wall. One warrior shouted, "Isn't this just asking the rest of us to die?" Behind him stood 5 warriors, Spectre among them. At their back was a great gate, but only one could enter. The mage Skaya spoke, calming her comrade Kali. We don't have much time. We need to decide carefully. I believe Spectre should be the one to go. Another warrior agreed. With the exception of Spectre, we're at a disadvantage against ice-based abilities. Kali gritted his teeth in frustration but finally admitted, there's no one quite like Spectre. One by one, the others agreed. Spectre looked at his team. Are you sure you won't regret this? Regret, they replied. Only if you lose. But we trust you. We know you won't make our deaths meaningless. Skaya added, isn't that right, Spectre? Their words became his greatest motivation. And then, the scene shifted. 25 years later, in 2024. On a great stage, a boy raised his hand, speaking about the next attack team. The crowd praised him, reminding everyone of the legendary players, the 5 heroes who defeated the Frost Queen and created safe zones. Encased in reinforced glass, the heroes stood frozen like statues. Please, show your respect, someone announced. But suddenly, the statue of Spectre cracked. A boy noticed. It moved. No, a woman dismissed him. The glass is temperature controlled 24/7. Nothing can happen. But the cracks spread. And in the next moment, the statue shattered. Spectre collapsed to the floor, free at last. Absorption rate, 100%. Congratulations. The system echoed in his ears. You have completely absorbed the Frost Queen's nucleus. You have received a new skill, Frost. Spectre trembled, cold from decades of ice. His eyes widened. What is happening? After collapsing, news of Spectre's awakening spread everywhere. Later, we see him sitting in a hospital bed. It's been 25 years? I've been frozen for so long, my whole body feels weak. I can barely grip my hands. While he was lost in thought, a doctor and nurse entered. The president of the Player Association has come. He's on his way now. Spectre frowned. Is it someone I know? If it's not, I'll just send them away. I hate being bothered. The doctor shook his head. He always spoke about how you were his close friend. Friend, Spectre muttered. His thoughts drifted back to his comrades. His 4 companions had called him that too. "Not many people ever called me their friend," he whispered. Then he nodded. "Thanks for the heads up. I suppose I should meet him." He turned to the window. His eyes widened at the sight outside. The world, it really has changed. This is what you and I wished for, a peaceful world. But then the thought struck him, he was a warrior, nothing else. Now that I think about it, all I know is how to fight. I'm unemployed. He chuckled bitterly. Well, I guess it's whatever. He reached for his mask. "I don't need this anymore," he said with a joyful smile. The doctors gasped as he removed it. "Why would you?" one began. Spectre smiled calmly. "Because it's a peaceful world now. You don't need heroes anymore." The room fell silent until a footstep echoed. Someone entered. "I'll explain that myself," a voice said. Spectre froze. His eyes widened. "Diaku?" The people behind chuckled, and Diaku asked for privacy. Once the room cleared, he looked at his old friend. "Juno, you look exactly the same." Of course, Spectre's appearance hadn't changed, he'd been trapped in ice for 25 years. He grinned. "That voice, it really is you, Diaku. See? Didn't I tell you you'd go bald?" "Ha!" Diaku snapped. "After all this time, that's the first thing you say?" He sighed. "No, the CO Juno I knew was always like this. I was stupid for expecting something different." Spectre only smirked. "So, even after 25 years, they still haven't cured baldness? Damn you. You haven't changed one bit," Diaku muttered, rubbing his forehead. The 2 old friends laughed and teased each other, but eventually, Spectre's face grew serious. What was up with the doctor's reaction earlier? They seemed shocked. "Why?" Diaku's smile faded. "Juno. The moment you and your team cleared the Queen's nest, all the players heard the same system message: congratulations, the Frost Queen has been defeated." Safe zones began to appear across the world. Everyone celebrated, but it lasted less than a minute. Another message followed. A dimensional elevator has been installed in the Pacific Ocean. 2nd floor unlocked. Humanity was shocked. A 2nd floor? The Frost Queen wasn't the end. And finally, the system said, "Stay strong until the final floor." Spectre's eyes narrowed. "Final floor?" Diaku nodded. The association, the players, even politicians all gathered. They sent an expedition to the frontier. The 2nd floor was dangerous, but filled with opportunity, new magic, technology, resources, knowledge. And from that, today's affluent Earth was born. But what? Spectre pressed. "There are 10 floors in total," Diaku said gravely. 10. Spectre clenched his fists. "It took my party 5 years to beat the Frost Queen. So in 25 years, humanity should be on the 7th floor at least." Diaku hesitated. Spectre glared. "What floor are they on now?" Diaku sighed. "The 2nd. In 25 years, humanity has only cleared 2 floors." Spectre's eyes widened. "What?" He collapsed back, pale. "I thought, at least the 5th. Maybe the 7th. But only the 2nd. His aura flared in anger. 25 years, and all you cleared was the 2nd floor? "There's a good reason," Diaku said quickly. Spectre's voice was sharp. "Fine. I'll hear it. I want to know how dumb this reason is." Diaku fell silent, then finally spoke. "The Frost Queen's nucleus." Spectre froze. "What?" "The 3rd floor is a volcanic region. Only a handful of players can even resist the heat. After years, we found an altar in the middle of the lava sea. But the altar required the Frost Queen's nucleus to cool the environment." Spectre's voice trembled. "So, did you find it?" I'm sorry, Diaku whispered. We searched the nest countless times. We never found it. Spectre's face went pale. Of course you didn't. Because I absorbed it. The room fell into silence. Well, it can't be helped, Spectre muttered. You guys were just unlucky. Everyone makes mistakes. And when I make one, you'd better understand, alright? His smile gleamed, hiding the truth. Of course, Diaku replied warmly. How could I not? But inside, Spectre was sweating. When do I even tell him, to avoid getting nagged to death? Later, Spectre entered a quiet chamber. His eyes fell on familiar figures, his comrades, still frozen. I'm sorry I'm late, he whispered. Did you know? The world's a better place now. The peace we dreamed of, we protected it. So rest easy. He raised a drink in their honor. But as he reached to brush dust from a comrade's head. Confirm possession of skill, Frost. Insufficient magic stats. Failed to remove the seal. Spectre staggered back. What? A new system message appeared. With the Frost skill, you are able to remove the seal on the ice statues. Spectre's eyes widened. His voice broke into a scream. What? Our hero stands before his frozen comrades, determination burning in his eyes. I can break the seal. I can bring these guys back. He summons his system, but what he sees stuns him, his magic stats have plummeted. For a moment, he falls silent, then mutters. It doesn't seem like I can do it in a day or two. But it's still possible. His gaze shifts to his Frost skill. This is the key, he murmurs. But the real problem lies in his weakened magic. That's when he notices something new in his system, the reward he gained after defeating the Frost Queen. If he uses her power, he might be able to melt the ice and save his comrades. With a firm resolve, he promises them. Wait for me. I'll get you out of there. The scene shifts. Our hero is eating when Diaku suddenly yells. You want to become a player again? Annoyed, our hero replies. Why are you so surprised? You already knew. I don't know how to do anything else. Diaku shakes his head. But it's so sudden. In the past, you said you wanted to retire. That was 25 years ago, our hero says firmly. Diaku scratches his head, unsure what to say. He warns that becoming a player again isn't a good idea, not with the fiends around. These were players who abused their powers for murder and crime, tumors of society. They're back, our hero frowns. Back then, they didn't even have space to breathe. Diaku explains that times have changed, no CCTV on the second floor, no country strong enough to contain them. The fiends are thriving now, especially with him gone. But before Diaku can continue, our hero cuts him off. I know why you don't want me to return. They still hate me, don't they? Diaku sighs. They go crazy just thinking about killing you. The only way you can return safely is if you abandon the name Spectre and go back as Co Juno. And why would I do that? Our hero counters. Diaku narrows his eyes. Then tell me, why do you want to come back? The 10th floor, our hero replies. What about it? What if I told you? I know a way? Diaku freezes. Wait, don't tell me. You said the Frost Queen's nucleus is needed, right? Our hero smirks. I ate it. You what? Diaku's face twists in disbelief. You're telling me you're the nucleus? Our hero shrugs. I didn't do it on purpose. It just forced itself inside me. Diaku clutches his chest dramatically. God, my blood pressure. Then, with a serious tone, he asks. Is the reason you're coming back related to your comrades? A smile spreads across our hero's face. Yeah. Diaku understands, but another problem rises. The doctors who saw his face. How will they handle that? And then, another issue, his player license. Can you get me one? Our hero asks. but Dyaku shakes his head. I can't. The guilds are stronger than the association now. Licenses are only given through the public exam. Even the big guilds attend it. Our hero groans. That's annoying. But Dyaku smirks. Actually, this might be good for you. If I want to fully support you, I need a good pretext. And there's no better excuse than you crushing the exam. Get the best results, and everyone will want you. Realization hits our hero. Oh ho, in other words, I have to dominate the exam? Dyaku nods. A grin spreads across our hero's face. He jumps onto his bed, excited. Alright then. I'm looking forward to the exam. In the next scene, we arrive at the towering building where countless players gather to take the license exam. This is the place where the strong are acknowledged, and the weak are left behind. Inside, we see hundreds of hopefuls, but among them sits our hero, Seo Junho. After receiving his ticket, he glanced down at the number written on it. Number 75, he murmured quietly, thinking about how much money he had spent just to get this chance. The woman at the counter instructed him to wait until his number was called. Looking around, Junho noted that the atmosphere here felt surprisingly casual, far less intense than he expected. He took a seat on the bench, but before long, boredom set in. That's when he decided to test something. Closing his eyes, he released a bit of his power and activated one of his lesser-known skills, Watchguard of Darkness. Instantly, his senses sharpened, his hearing expanding beyond human limits. Conversations from the other test takers suddenly became clear. He listened quietly as players whispered about ancient dungeons, and even about Dyaku. Junho let out a faint breath. Pretty peaceful, he muttered, resting his back against the bench. Soon after, the first applicant was called. Number 1 stepped into the arena, and through the window Junho could observe the exam. Monsters were summoned, goblins filling the stage. The player stood firm, radiating an intimidating aura. Outside, the other candidates murmured in awe. Wow, his fighting spirit is so strong, even the goblins are stepping back, one said. He'll pass for sure, another added, their tone filled with envy. But Junho narrowed his eyes. His analytical instincts kicked in. Who knows? Spears are great for controlling space, but once the enemy closes in, that long reach becomes useless. And just as he expected, despite his flashy presence, the first applicant failed. Junho smirked. So, that's how it's going to be. They'll just keep failing one by one. Finally, his number was called. Number 75, Seo Junho. High above in the observation deck, examiners were already unimpressed. We're almost done for today, one of them sighed. Not a single applicant has met the basic requirements. Let's just wrap this up. Dyaku, however, leaned back in his chair with interest. Well, this one should be interesting. As Junho stepped into the arena, the crowd of candidates stirred. Who's that guy? Look at him, he brought a sword, bow, daggers, even a spear? Who carries that many weapons? He's so skinny, looks like another wannabe Spectre copycat. But they were wrong. He wasn't a copy. He was the real Spectre. Dyaku grinned faintly. Good. I did tell him to stand out. The arena was flooded with goblins, 20 in total. Junho calmly glanced at them and smiled. Reminds me of the old days. Come. The goblins screeched and charged, claws raised. Junho's smirk widened. With a single swing of his blade, 4 goblins were instantly cut down. Gasps erupted from the waiting room. But he didn't stop there. Feeling a presence behind him, Junho spun, launching a throwing knife straight through 2 more goblins. The crowd grew silent. The remaining monsters froze in fear. They tried to flee, but Junho wasn't about to let them. Pulling out his bow, he fired arrow after arrow with flawless precision. Someone once taught me archery, he recalled. The image of his teacher, Gilbert Green, the legendary marksman, flashed in his mind. The goblins fell one by one, unable to escape his relentless aim. The survivors, enraged, bared their teeth and charged once more. Junho calmly drew his sword. "Of course, you're the last ones." In the blink of an eye, his blade cut through the horde. Silence fell over the arena. Then, Junho winced. A sharp pain ran through his body. But before anyone could question it, the announcer's voice echoed. "Number 75, Seo Junho passed." The other players were stunned. The very same ones who mocked him earlier now stared in disbelief. He's only a D rank? Wait, what? That was all with just a D rank main skill? If that's all he's got, then training him would be a waste, too many limitations as he levels up. But Diaku knew the truth. He hid a small smile, thinking to himself, I suppose this is the conclusion. Still, I almost feel guilty for fabricating his profile. And with that, Seo Junho, the forgotten hero, officially passed the license exam.